Yeah, and that's what I mean about like being radicals is when you're a radical, you impose your vision, your activists, your political operatives, your media guys, you impose your vision. You don't constantly kind of take in and adapt to the establishment's vision. You impose yourself on them. And if you look at what the forces driving the left, they are committed, hardcore ideological activists. Like if you want to study political movements that win, you shouldn't be studying shit from the right wing since the Second World War because the right wing just takes L constantly the entire time. The only movement that ever did anything on the right was the neoconservatives, but they were this like top-down Jewish movement. You should study them, understand their movements. But if you want to understand who wins or how to win, you should look at what the left do and copy what the left did to win because they're the real winners of recent memory. And the left have this cadre of hardcore activists who don't compromise, who had all the crazy ideas that are being mainstreamed on the left now. They had those ideas 50 years ago when no one believed that shit, and they were just relentless and steadfast in their vision, and they just kept the foot to the floor for decade after decade, and their vision is now realized because everyone else in that milieu was trying to take these like political positions in between, we're going to sit in this portion of the Overton window. We're going to focus on electability. We're going to get Clinton elected or whatever. We're going to get Obama elected or fucking whatever it may be. And these left wing ideologues were like, we don't give a shit about that. We are just going to impose our. I mean, they did intervene on that to an extent, but they were like, we're going to impose our vision. We're going to have transgenderism. We're going to have gay acceptance. We're going to have black liberation, women's liberation. And they're never satisfied. Even now that they've taken all these W's, they're still ranting about white supremacy and patriarchy. And they're never going to be satisfied because they're just relentless. And that, and even though they're completely fucked and evil, we need that relentlessness. And the same thing with the Jews. The Jews are fucking relentless. Like the neoconservatives, or listen to like Ben Shapiro talk. He has this just insane energy where he's just constantly
Helpful,
going
man. That's the
100
source of
miles
their
an hour.
laws, right? That's the source of their laws. I wouldn't look at Hadar's Twitter page just to catch up on what he's been up to. And he's talking about Rambam, Maimonides, right? Strauss is probably the most preeminent interpreter of Maimonides, but his everlasting gift is the primacy of Pilpul, just total verbal dominance as the origin of Judaic law in the modern era. That's the only thing they respect. And that's what we're building over here on cozy.tv is a bunch of beasts.
Yeah, we
So
need that relentlessness, but from a goy perspective, from a Christian perspective, from an Aryan perspective, we need to push our relentlessness back on the system to reset. Like I said, I posted on my alt Twitter, I shared a Jefferson Lee post where it was like an image of um, attitudes towards race, and it had like white liberals and white conservatives, and like white liberals like literally hate white people. Like that's just like a fact. Um, Liberal whites, 87.1% of them said they agreed with the statement. On balance, do you think having an increasing number of people of many different races, ethnic groups, and nationalities in the US makes this country a better place to live? Um, and 87% said yes. So like these people, we can't have this liberal order where like we let them contest elections and we contest elections. We let these people, like 70% of people agree with gay marriage. We can't let them be involved in politics, ideally. Like what we should want is just total crushing victory over them where they are just completely politically disempowered. And these cucks, these conservative cucks, they're like, oh, you can't say that. That's um we have to be, we have to prop up the Constitution. We have to honor these age-old institutions and have like basically permit the left. Just we also want a seat at the table, kind of thing. And like that's the difference between people like us and people like them. It's like we recognize it's like either we win or they win, and it's like either or. There is no compromises that can be fucking made. And that uncompromising core from the grassroots, that youthful energy, the things that we've kind of discussed already in this stream, like that's the only way that winning is possible. This like we're gonna go work for PragerU and talk about how bad jacking off to porn is or whatever. Like that isn't even fucking that political. Like, I mean, I agree with like porn should be banned or whatever. They should in the US, what you got like Supreme Court precedent, right? That porn falls under the First Amendment or whatever. That's fucking retarded, and there should be conservatives should push to overturn that. But it's like come on, dude. Like you just it's the same thing with Matt Walsh. It's like he's got this crusade against trannies, and look how base Matt Walsh is. And I 100% agree with him, obviously, on the tranny issue. But it's like you're just taking the safe options. Like these are the few things that the system will allow you to have system compatible dissidents, so that you can simulate uh, being reactionary. You can simulate being revolutionary, but really you're not. Um, and that's why like the Jewish thing is so important because it's like that's one thing no one's allowed to touch. So if you touch it and run with it, it's like it's not even specifically just about confronting Jewish power. It's about demonstrating you're not under the control of the system and you're basically attacking the system rationality itself. You're attacking the source of the political consciousness that imposes the status quo. You're going straight for the throat. Um, and that's the only thing that'll work.
Definitely.